I go back and forth on this picture. I'm really not sure what I think about it. Is it a great picture? I don't know. Is it a bad picture? I don't think so. So why am I posting it here, especially at the final picture of 2024? Well, number one, I don't really do pictures to here on Weekly 50 to coincide with different times of the year. If I do, it's coincidental. It's nothing I plan. And I've actually had this picture for a little while. I think I shot it back in September, and I've been going back and forth on it. Like, what do I think about this picture? And in the end, this is an intentional choice. I thought it would be a fitting image to close out the year for a couple reasons. Number one, this is a very different type of photo for me. Most of my photos they're kind of similar in terms of the mechanics and the structure. Most of my photos have a clear subject and then something in focus in the foreground, or a clear subject that's in focus. Something in the foreground and background to give it depth, some sort of context so that you know what you're looking at. There's all these similar elements that it's like a running theme across a lot of my photos. This has not a lot of those. It's some, I guess, but this also is recycled. I have shot photos at this spot several times over the years. This is just east of my house. There's this big open field. And in the morning, if you catch it right, like on the way to work, as the sun is coming up, you can get these beautiful sunrises. So again, why this photo? Well, as I started to say before, it violates a lot of my conventions about photography. There isn't one clear subject, and it's hard for me to take a photo like that. Instead, the entire frame, top to bottom, serves as the focal point for the viewer. Even the dark parts in the foreground, they serve a valuable compositional element. Think about this. What is your eye drawn to in this photo? Is it the band of clouds across the top third line? Is it the darker clouds in the middle of the photo? Is it the foreground and that silhouette, that super clear silhouette? What is it that draws you to this photo, if anything at all? And it's probably not one thing. It's probably a combination of things. It still has that foreground background element, but what's the subject? I don't know. It's a lot of things. So it's, in some ways, this photo defies my normal conventions. And I didn't like it at first, but I've come to like it over the last couple weeks or even months, because it shows something different from me, different for me from the usual. This is a big departure for me to put a photo like this without some of those elements that are so core to a lot of my photos. And I also thought it would be a good way to kind of end the year on a positive note. It's a bright, brilliant sunrise. And I try to be an optimist about things. Some days it's not easy when we listen to the news or we read about what's going on in the world and conflicts and all these other things. It's not always easy to be an optimist. But this photo is a reminder that every day the sun comes up is a good day. And there's always hope. And even if you have a really dark day, there's going to be another day and another day past that. And so I don't want to get like too existential here, or too spiritual, but I do believe that every day we have is a gift from God. And this photo is a reminder to me of God's love for us, his forgiveness for our sins, and his provision for us. And some days aren't going to be bright. Some days are going to be dark, but there's going to be a bright one if we just wait for it. So with that being said, thank you all for sticking with me over the years as I have continued Weekly 50. Here's to many more photos, like on in the future. Here we go, starting 2024 next week with more Weekly 50, as usual. Thank you for being part of this, and God bless you. God bless your family. Happy New Year whenever New Year's is. Happy 2024, everybody.